Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. So folks, we're sitting here deep into the NFL season and a story just broke that could shake up the NFC East in a major way. Imagine the scenario. Kirk Cousins, a quarterback whose name has been associated with Washington for years, potentially returning to the team that drafted him. Sounds like a movie plot, right? But it's actually a real possibility, and it has everything to do with the current situation of the Washington Commanders. Now, let's rewind a bit and set the stage. The Commanders, coming off a tough offseason, thought they had their quarterback situation figured out. They brought in Jayden Daniels, a young quarterback with promise, hoping he would be the guy to lead them into the playoffs and beyond. But things haven't exactly gone as planned. In fact, after just 2 games, it's clear that the team is facing some serious issues at the quarterback position. Jayden Daniels initially looked like he was approaching a sophomore slump. His performances in Week 1 seemed promising, but the Week 2 game against the Green Bay Packers exposed some glaring problems. Pressure was relentless on him, and it culminated in an injury that could really throw a wrench into the team's plans. The team announced that Daniels suffered a knee injury during that game, and the severity is still uncertain. What we do know is that this injury is serious enough to force Marcus Mariota into action for Week 3. Now, Mariota, a seasoned veteran, is not a bad backup, but he's not the long-term answer for the Commanders if they want to contend. The team is being cautious, very cautious, because they remember the RG3 situation, how rushing back from injury can do more harm than good. That's why the current decision is to hold Daniels out and see how things develop. But this creates a huge problem for the Commanders. They're suddenly in need of a more reliable, consistent starter under center. And that's where Kirk Cousins comes into the picture. Now, Cousins, a Washington native, started his NFL career in the nation's capital, and he's no stranger to the organization or the fans. Returning him to the Commanders, especially at this point in his career, could be a game changer. Think about it. Cousins has proven he can run a competent offense, especially one with skilled playmakers like Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, players who can make plays and stretch defenses. Under the right scheme, like what Cliff Kingsbury is known for, Cousins could thrive. He's experienced, familiar with the city, and ready to step into a situation where he can be a stabilizing force. And let's be honest, the NFL is all about timing. When injuries hit, opportunities arise. The Falcons, for example, have a starting quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., and they're aiming high in the NFC South. But they're also aware that their roster isn't perfect. They're looking to make trades to bolster their team, and Kirk Cousins could be the piece they need. With their current setup, the Falcons could see Cousins as a way to elevate their offense and push for a division title. But for the Commanders, bringing Cousins back could be a way to stabilize their quarterback spot, especially if Daniels is sidelined longer than expected. Cousins has the leadership, the experience, and the skill to come in and help keep the team competitive. Now, there's a lot to consider in this potential reunion. First, the contract situation. Cousins, at this stage of his career, is likely looking for a deal that offers him stability and a chance to compete. The Commanders, who have been somewhat cautious with their cap space, would need to make it work financially, but it's not impossible. And from a football perspective, Cousins would fit perfectly with the team's offensive weapons. Terry McLaurin is a top-tier receiver, capable of making tough catches and creating yards after the catch, and Deebo Samuel's versatility as a receiver and runner adds another layer to the offense. Cousins has thrived in schemes that emphasize quick decision-making and precise throws, which is exactly what Cliff Kingsbury's system is built around. But beyond just the X's and O's, this move would send a message. It would show the NFC East that the Commanders are serious about competing now, not just planning for the future. It would also give Cousins a chance to return to a familiar setting, to prove once again that he can lead a team deep into the playoffs. Fans in Washington would be thrilled. they've always appreciated his leadership and his knack for making plays in critical moments. Plus, returning home could give him extra motivation to succeed, to remind everyone that he's still got what it takes to be a starting NFL quarterback at a high level. Looking at the bigger picture, this situation highlights how the NFL is a league of opportunity and timing. Injuries are part of the game, and when key players go down, it often opens doors for others. Kirk Cousins, with his experience and leadership, could be that door for the Commanders. And honestly, it's a move that makes sense from a strategic standpoint. The Commanders are in a bit of a bind right now, trying to find stability at quarterback, and Cousins could bring that stability right away. He's familiar with the city, the team, and the pressure of playing in the NFL. Plus, his ability to read defenses and distribute the ball efficiently would help the team keep pace in the NFC East, which is shaping up to be one of the most competitive divisions in recent memory. And let's not forget the fans' perspective. Washington supporters have been eager to see a stable, confident quarterback leading their team. They remember the days when Kirk was in town, performing well, rallying the fanbase, and showing that he could be a franchise quarterback. Bringing him back could reignite that enthusiasm and give the team a much-needed boost in morale and confidence. It's a move that could also send a message to the rest of the league that the Commanders are serious about contending and that they're willing to make bold moves to do so. Of course, nothing is certain yet. The negotiations would have to go smoothly, and the team's front office would need to weigh the financial and strategic implications carefully. But the signs are pointing toward a possible reunion. And if it happens, it could be one of those stories that fans talk about for years, an NFL soap opera full of twists, turns, and comebacks. It's the kind of storyline that adds even more excitement to an already thrilling season. So, what do you think, Commanders fans? Would you love to see Kirk Cousins back in Washington, leading the offense? Or do you believe the team should stick with Daniels and Mariota and build from within? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, and I want to hear what you think about this potential move that could reshape the NFC East. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more deep dives into everything happening with your Washington Commanders. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, go Commanders.